Joining me now, someone who's been a warrior on this issue, Liberal Senator for Tasmania, Claire Chandler. Claire, I have to say congratulations to you and many women who have stood with you right around the world to put this on the agenda. But what does it say about our so-called leaders here in Australia, not just in politics, but also in sport and in the community, that we've got a UN Special Rapporteur who seem to have a better grasp of the challenges that women face than these leaders?
It's a bit of a sad reflection on these leaders here in Australia, both in sport and in politics, like you say, Peter. And frankly, the UN Special Rapporteur is spot on here. Women and girls should have the right to compete in their own single-sex sporting competitions. It's something I've been saying for years. It's something many Australians have been saying for years. And we are finally starting to see some of our institutions, including seemingly the United Nations, realise that that is the case as well. But it really does put in stark contrast the lack of leadership that we've had from big sporting codes in this country, as well as our political leaders, that they won't recognise the same thing.
OK, so what happens next? Because she wants the Special Rapporteur in her report that big sporting bodies like the Olympic Committee and all the way down to grassroots clubs, they have to accept her findings. Now, in many other areas, we all kowtow to the UN. What's going to happen here?
Well, I think that's a very interesting question, Peter, and we do know that there are many international sporting bodies like World Rugby and World Aquatics and World Athletics that have adopted common sense approaches and guaranteed women and girls the right to their own single-sex sport. But what we haven't seen is our own local sporting codes here in Australia adopt those same policies. So I think it's fair to ask why there hasn't been any leadership from our leading sporting codes, and frankly why there hasn't been any leadership from our Australian government here that is happy to let this situation continue, where women and girls don't have that guaranteed legal right to single-sex sport.
I guess now we've got this report, the Parliament could certainly have some legislation, and it could be the Coalition putting in a bill that guarantees the right of women to women's sport.
Well, certainly, Peter, back in the last Parliament, as I'm sure you'll recall, I introduced my Save Women's Sports Bill to the Parliament to rectify the issue at law to ensure that women and girls have the right to single-sex sport in this country. That bill is still publicly available, and it's absolutely up to the government if they want to pick it up and have a look at it and consider putting it into law. I don't have high hopes that the government will do that at this point in time, given some of their commentary about that bill. But like I say, it's there and anyone can pick it up and look at it and consider legislating it as they choose.